back. Today we're not fixing anything. Well, we are, but not for the camera, but I thought I'd give you a look. We've got the Zetor out because all the grass, it's got a 6-foot slasher on and all the grass is growing down the back, but we're going to swap her over with the 165 Massey Ferguson. This one's got a few problems we've got to fix, and like that fuel leak there, that's getting worse. I have to put a kit through that. And this isn't mine, and the 165 is, so we're going to swap it. And it's an easier tractor to use too, the Massey Ferguson. So as much as we both appreciate this one, the power and it's still easy to use, but 165 is more comfortable. And that's about the only reason. We've used this for many years, but until I own it, we've stopped using it now and use our own. So it's only going to be a short video today, but I thought I'd record what we're doing anyway. So I just had the backer in the shed here before we swap it over, because the skid on the slasher there are going off, so just put a patch on that, cut the old bit off and put it back on, and it hit a stump and bent it. So now that that's fixed and straightened out, we'll drop her off and put the Massey Ferguson under it. It's only been running for about a minute. That's why in the previous video, well, the one with the Sami, I said to remind me to turn the fuel off. That's the reason. So okay, we just got the 165 going. The clutches, since all this weather we've had, the clutches stuck to the flywheel, like the friction plate. So trying to ride the brake a little bit to try and break it free before we actually investigate through the inspection cover or something. Amazing where water gets, it really is. It's dripping out of the muffler and everything, out of can on top of it, but it still gets in there. It's always been in a shed, this one, and I get it and leave it outside, and the first thing that goes wrong is due to water. Looks like she's letting go. I'll have to take the inspection cover off her.
See if I can get up the shed.
It's always been in the shed, hasn't it? As soon as it leave it outside.
You should have got rain into the clutch.
No, it's just the moisture in the air. Feels alright, doesn't it?
Now I've got to get down the fucking gear.
Just hit the starter again. She should wind up there, shouldn't she?
That's an high range.
Okay, so we've got the slasher on her. I didn't video, I was trying to break the clutch free. I took the inspection cover off the bottom here. There's 4 bolts and a plate there, and looked up, it's got condensation in there from all this rain and everything's rusty. But I'd say the flywheel being a clean finish all the time, it would have rusted and stuck the friction plate to it. But we drove it into that tree down there. So the wheel marks under it trying to break it free, and it just spun both, and then she bottomed out, it just wouldn't let go. So I made a tool up and just pried the friction disc off the flywheel. So as I've said in previous videos, time you get all this equipment going, you bloody could have already had the job done, but it just all takes time. So we put the slasher on. We had to lengthen the top link. It was a lot shorter on the Zetor. Just took the guarding off. That bent once before. The stick got caught in it. Took that off. Threw it in the scrap heap. Just going to fix the power steering now. The power steering, the steering's heavy on it, so I've got to filter here if it's the right one. Generally you've got to have 2 or 3 goes. I'll take that cover off there. That's the pump and the filter and reservoir all in one there. I'll drop that cover off, see if there's any oil at all. Feels to me like there's not. Hopefully the filter fits. We'll change that and fill it with oil and see how she goes. We'll just set her up on the tripod here and we'll do it. Sounds like it might be empty. Got a few leaks on it. No filter even in it. But there's definitely not enough oil for it to steer, so. Probably not right, but even if it fits, it's a start. It's not right, never is. We'll get one through the week. I'll just put some oil in it. Should be enough. Not a big deal. There's no, hasn't been wearing out, even though it's black. There's no chunks. The gear pump's not really going to hurt it anyway. It definitely will get one. That's obviously where it went. full right to the top. One, I didn't really mean for that to happen, and two, it'll drop once we bleed the system anyway, so just sit that in there lightly. Quickly crank her up and see if she goes. Dropped a long way. Okay, she's steering nice now. Got a little bit of a tight spot, but once you start using and get all the air out of the system, it'll be fine. Next thing I'm going to do is, it's got this, when my uncle had it, that's now, I've told you a story about this one a while ago. I bought it. This was my grandfather's again. He was the same one that owned the Blitz truck, for those who watched that. And if you can see down there, an old orange Chamberlain Australian made tractor down there, that was his. And then there's a couple of other things around here I'll show you in another episode, but this one I bought at the auction because they sold the family place and they moved on, just downgraded a little bit, something easier to maintain. So I bought the tractor off him. No one else bid on it, and I think the problem was I paid $5 grand for it, which is cheap for something like this, but I think it was 16% the bloke that held the auction, his buyer's premium was, so it put it up to I mean, it was still an $8,000 tractor here in Australia, maybe a little bit more, but it's sort of a waste of money. Like, that's just dead money. So in hindsight, I should have really let it pass in because I was the only one that bid in the end, and given the $5,000 straight to my family rather than pay the auctioneer that rather steep premium. So that, anyway, it's still a cheap machine. I didn't have it's a 65 horsepower tractor. The only one I had was the Zetor or the Sami, but those aren't mine. Plus this is a better tractor to use than the Zetor. They go the same, but this is just more user friendly, so got a lot of less leaks on it. That's the story behind it. So I bought it, but in the time he had it, I got some Bearco parts to keep it going. I got a steering wheel because that was all just weathered, cracked. It's just like the steel ring showing most of it. And I got this muffler now. It works great. It's a Bearco. It's suited for this tractor, but one, it looks silly, and two, it sounds too quiet. Now that's good if you're working it all day, but when you got these Perkins in these MF165s. They've got a really good sound to them. So I've got a muffler over here, which are Australian made, these mufflers. I don't know if you can see that written there. Uber. They give them a lot better note. Now that Zetor's got one on it. The 3-cylinder one's got one on it. I've never heard it run. The one I showed you in just the post I put up, community post. They make a tractor sound really good, so I'm going to bolt that onto it. One, it looks better, and two, it'll sound better. That's the only reason. This one's probably better if you're going to work it. But I'll set this up and try and get that rusty bolt out and see if we can make it fit. Got this bit of a step here, so that's probably the size we need there, so I might have to extend that. Take that clamp off for starters. Want a bit of pipe to suit that into this, and we'll weld it on, I think. That's the go. Okay, in order to make this fit, this pipe here is the right size. But if I put that straight in the manifold, it's going to be too short, so I'm just lifting it up this little bit. We'll just tack it in there, see if it's a nice height, and then we'll, if it's okay, we'll weld it. These are the cords, huh? You do the air filter? Like that or the bottom? The filter?
Why do you run that in?
See how when you put your foot in the clutch you come to a stop? Really easy. Sticker on there, 165, and then the red and chrome badge there. Still needs a bit of a tidy up. If that panel's not on there, because we have a thing with batteries here that they just don't last, so we forever change them in amongst things. But I have got that panel. Headlights, I've never seen in it since I'm 38, and I've known it all my life and never seen them in there. Haven't seen this in there, although I've got it. Probably needs a wiring harness. The generator's not working, which isn't a problem at all. Probably should give it a service. This time of year you're always using them. That Zetor we always use. Grass just grows that quick. Apart from that, it's pretty good. Good tyres. Tyres not bad anyway. The other one's better. But I'll be wearing those out before I spend the money on new ones. You want to use it like that or lengthen it up?
Oh, yeah.
There he goes. We'll get in the car and do a video of it when she's working. 6-foot cut on that one, and the other one on the 35 Massey Ferguson's a 4-foot. You can see the windrows are a lot closer together here. The smaller tractor though, even though it's a smaller cut, it did struggle in this grass. You tend to get in, there's nothing wrong with it, but she was getting a little bit hot, especially this time of year in Australia. The bigger one should do it a lot easier. The grass is fairly thick here, it's a lot of weed in it too, makes it worse, but she seems to be cutting alright there. It's a nice even finish. Not that it matters down here, but for a single blade on a, it's doing pretty well. I buy all these toys here, and as soon as I get them going, my dad gets on them and away they go, and I don't ever get to use them. The time he plays here, everything will be done. I have to wait for it all to grow again, so I can have a turn. Doing it fairly easy. The old 35, you're down the lower gear, and she was working pretty hard to cut this. That's double the horsepower nearly, that one. Not a problem at all. Before we end this video, this is the tractor I was telling you about. This is a 35 Massey Ferguson. 35 3-cylinder Perkins. They done a 4-cylinder standard diesel, and they done a 4-cylinder petrol. This is the 3-cylinder version. These were the best ones, in my opinion. I've had a bit to do with the 4-cylinder one, not the petrol, the standard diesel, and it was a good, same to use, but just covered in leaks, and it was hard to start. And this one just seemed to, even though this has got leaks on it, but the other one just was leaking out of places you couldn't repair. And this one's just a little diesel leak out of that bowl there. Just seems like a completely different tractor to the other one. This one here belonged to my dad's family when they had the farm up the road here, and one night grandmother was living there by herself, and this thing was parked in the shed. It was in gear, how it is there, with the stopper out, with the fuel cut out, and the battery lead was still hooked up. So late at night, the starter started winding by itself. I don't know if it was moisture or what happened, but the motor started winding over, which, because it was in gear, drove the thing into the front of the shed. And then she just kept winding, and the lower the voltage gets in a battery, the more amps it's pulling, the hotter the starter got, and it actually caught a light. And I think it burnt the front tyres off it. Fuel tank didn't explode, but it swelled up that much from the heat. It all cracked and split, and obviously burnt the diesel, but burnt all the rubber and the harnesses and everything off it. And still don't know why it did that, but we ended up buying it off the farm when they sold it, and I was still in school at the time. And I painted it and done her all up, and that was 25, 26 years ago, maybe more. And It's still not bad, the paint's faded, but I never got round to doing the bonnet because of the heat that was in it. It was just all warped that bad. So I have since come across one, actually a few, and I've gathered them up, but it really needs redoing and putting that back on it. So I'll probably paint it again. I've used the darker grey, which is a later model grey. It should be a light grey, but I like that better. I was in Restore and I was just getting it going to a usable machine. So that's the story of that one. Please subscribe and share this video if you're still watching. I know a lot of you turn it off fairly early, but that doesn't matter. Please subscribe, share, and restorations like the old Transtar there, and the Blitz, she's up in the bush there. So you're hiding up there and stuff like that, so that'd be great. Thanks for watching.